Which one is the most expensive? Could you tell? These 4 fish oil supplements cost very different amounts of money, but if I remove them from their bottles, would you be able to identify the premium brand? There's only one way to find out. Most people assume that a higher price means higher purity, more omega-3, better ingredients, better health benefits, but is that actually true? Today, we're comparing 4 of the most popular fish oil supplements in America: Spring Valley, Nature Made, GNC, and Nordic Naturals. We'll cut them open, compare their contents, test their claims, and find out whether paying more actually buys you a better fish oil supplement. 4 supplements, 4 different price points, 4 very different marketing strategies. But once the capsules are opened, do the differences become any easier to see? But before we compare these supplements, I want to see what's actually inside them. So let's take a closer look. Sometimes the best place to start isn't the label, it's the product itself. Alrighty then, we are at 40 times, and guess what? We're not looking at omega-3 molecules. Those are far too small to see under a light microscope. What we're actually seeing are droplets of fish oil spreading across the slide. Fish oil should be fairly simple, you guys. It should contain fat. That's it. What I don't want to see are crystals, fibers, large particles, or chunks of material floating around in the sample. So this magnification gives us our first question. Is this a clean oil? So far, the answer appears to be yes. Okay, at 100 times, the sample starts to break apart into individual droplets. So oil and water don't mix very well, and methylene blue prefers water. And that's why the stain is collecting in these tiny blue pockets. So this isn't contamination, it's chemistry, guys. Here's where people make a mistake. They expect to zoom in and suddenly see omega-3 molecules swimming around the entire slide, but that's not how microscopy works. Omega-3 molecules are far too small to be visible. Instead, we're evaluating the overall cleanliness of the entire sample. And at 1,000 times, I'm still not seeing anything that really concerns me. Here we are with a nature-made fish oil, and this looks completely different from the Nordic sample. What do you guys think? Nordic formed a few larger pools of oil, but this sample has spread into hundreds of tiny droplets. So why the difference? Honestly, that's the interesting part. So I prepared both samples the same way, but Nature Made is behaving very differently. That could be because of differences in the formulation. It could be the viscosity. It could be the way the oil is interacting with the glass. So at this point, I can't say for certain, but I can say one thing. These 2 fish oils are definitely not behaving the same way. Well, the closer I look, the more obvious these differences become. And this is exactly why I don't trust labels, you guys. If you picked up these 2 bottles at the store, you'd probably assume they were nearly identical, but under the microscope, they're behaving very differently. The question is, does any of this actually matter? Well, we've officially reached 1,000 times, and after all that zooming, here's the scientific conclusion. You ready? It's still fish oil. I'm telling you, honestly, that's a good news. The farther I zoom in, the more confident I become that there's nothing here raising any red flags. And when it comes to a supplement that millions of people take every single day, that's exactly what I want to see. Okay, here we are at GNC at 40 times magnification, and this is pretty cool, you guys. So compare this to the Nature Made sample. The oil here is spreading very differently across the slide, and there's a reason for that. Fish oil supplements aren't all made the same way, as you know. Some use natural triglycerides, others use processed forms called ethyl esters. Some are purified differently, and some contain additional ingredients like antioxidants and stabilizers. All these factors can influence how the oil behaves under a microscope, and that's why one supplement can form hundreds of tiny droplets while another forms larger pools of oil. And at 100 times, those differences become even easier to see. And this is where processing starts to matter. More highly processed oils can behave very differently than less processed oils. Added ingredients can also change the way an oil spreads. Now, I'm not saying one product is better than the other, but I am saying they're clearly not identical. So at 400 times, I'm no longer comparing droplet patterns. I'm looking for warning signs. Fish oil should contain fat, we know that. It shouldn't contain crystals, fibers, large particles, or obvious debris. Those are the things that would immediately catch my attention. So at 1,000 times, we're no longer looking at the overall pattern. We're inspecting the sample itself. You know, fish oil supplements are often marketed as being purified, molecularly distilled, or pharmaceutical grade. But what do those claims actually mean? In simple terms, they mean unwanted compounds have been removed. And this is where I'd expect those impurities to start showing up. Cloudy areas, crystalline material, particles that simply don't belong. You know what? I'm not seeing any of that here. Okay, here's a Spring Valley at 40 times, and wait a minute, what the hell is that? Okay, we've been staring at oil droplets this entire time, and now there's something completely different sitting right in the middle of the freaking slide. So before anybody panics, I have no idea what this is. It could be part of the capsule, it could be something introduced during slide preparation, doubt it, but it definitely caught my attention. And that's exactly why we're doing this experiment. So as we zoom in, it becomes apparent and obvious that this isn't an oil droplet. It's elongated, it's fibrous, and it looks completely different from everything we've seen so far. This is called contamination, guys. And this is why microscopy is so cool. You go looking for one thing and end up discovering something completely unexpected. All right, so at 400 times, we can finally start examining the structure itself. And honestly, I'm not really comfortable jumping to any conclusions, you guys, because I don't feel like having another manufacturer come after me to sue me. But identifying something under a microscope isn't as simple as saying I found it, because context matters, sample preparation matters, and comparison matters. So 1,000 times, we're getting our closest look yet. And here's the lesson, you guys. A microscope doesn't automatically give you answers, it gives you evidence. So sometimes that evidence confirms what you already expected, and sometimes it raises new questions. And in this case, I think that's exactly what's happening. The fish oil looks normal, but this structure, that's something I really want to investigate further. So you know what? I'm going to say it. I call it as it is. This is contamination. Okay, so far, everything we've done has involved microscopes, slides, and magnification. But if you've ever opened a bottle of fish oil and thought, damn, that smells fishy, well, there's actually a reason for that. Fresh fish oil should not have an overpowering odor. Once these oils are exposed to heat, light, and oxygen, they can begin to break down. And one of the first warning signs is often the smell, which means it's time for a completely unscientific test, the sniff test. Okay, first up is GNC, and let me open it up right here. I'll put a hole in it. There it goes. Now, let's see. Let me smell it. And wow. Okay, guys, this is like really, really fishy. Really bad. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit for you. You guys see that? Sniff it. Really bad. This one's really fishy. Next one is nature made. Let me puncture a hole in this guy right here. There it goes. Let me smell it. You guys see it? This one's not bad. Not bad at all. It smells almost like lemon. Next up, Spring Valley, the cheap one. It's got this at Walmart. Let me grab the scalpel. We'll puncture a hole right here. It has some pretty tough casings too. There it goes. Squeeze a little bit so you can see it. Smell it. Does not smell at all. That's a good sign. And next up is Nordic. These were expensive. Oops. Here we go. Let me get one of these guys out of here. All right. Grab the scalpel. Puncture a hole right here. There it goes. There it is. Let me smell it. This one smells like nothing, which is it's a good sign. Lemon. Good sign for Nordic. So, what did we learn today? Under the microscope, every fish oil behaved a little differently. Some spread into tiny droplets, others formed larger pools. We even found a few surprises along the way. But one thing became pretty clear, you guys. The label only tells part of the story. And when it came to odor, there were some noticeable differences there too. The next time you pick up a bottle of fish oil, don't just look at the marketing claims, look at the ingredients. Pay attention to the EPA and DHA content. Check the expiration date and maybe give it a quick sniff before you swallow it. Because sometimes the simplest test can tell you a lot. Don't forget to subscribe, be good to yourself, and others.